camera. Let me see if that is changed. And yeah, hello there. My name is Niki. Welcome to my first YouTube live stream ever. I'm staying in Russia, in Siberian town Omsk. And today we are going to talk about traveling in Russia on a budget. I'll share how I traveled from Vladivostok city through the Russian Far East to Baikal Lake and then to my hometown. We'll cover such stuff as the expenses, the transportation stuff, how I traveled through all the cities, and I'll also share the stuff about Couchsurfing in Russia. Yeah, if you are watching me in recording, feel free to check out the description area. You'll see the time codes. I'll manage to put there the most interesting questions covered in this video. And if you are watching me during the live, thank you, welcome again, and let's get started. I want to see if anyone's here right now. I see there are 5 viewers. Okay, guys, tell me, where are you from? Where are you watching me right now? And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. Like Igor Rain says, hello, can I follow you on OnlyFans? Not right now, not at the moment. I think it's too early, but maybe in the future I'll set up OnlyFans or something like Patreon account. Well, let's get started with a little introduction of the trip I made before. Yeah, so the thing is, I love traveling a lot, but I ain't rich. I do not have any high income, and the way I travel is I keep my expenses very low, like traveling really on a budget. All this year, starting from January the 1st, I've been traveling around Asia first, and I think I had about 9 months roaming around countries like China, Hong Kong, Laos, and Thailand. I could travel more, but, you know, coronavirus. And 9 months after, I moved back to Russia and had a 2-month trip along Russian Far East and then along Siberia. So that's what we're gonna talk about this video, about that 2-month trip. Let me see if anyone writes anything. Lena Soboleva, hey there, my mom. Jagit Kaur, hey, greetings from India. Hello, my Indian friend, greetings from Russia. Dan K, hi Nick, we are from Detroit, Michigan, USA. Dan, my gosh, what time is it in Michigan? It must be so huge time difference right now. Like, I'm staying in Omsk now and it is 7 p.m. I think you have something like the morning there in Detroit. Okay, so shall we go with Russian trip first? I have a map for you actually. Let me see if I can show you my screen. Change it like this. Yeah, exactly. So if you are unfamiliar with Russian map, here is Russia. Huge area on the map, and September the 3rd I started my trip from this city, Vladivostok, in the Russian Far East. Like, it's very far from my hometown. This red dot is Vladivostok city. This red dot is Omsk city, where I'm staying at the moment. And it took me about 2 months to cover the distance from Vladivostok to this lake, Baikal Lake, and then a couple more weeks to come back to my hometown. Yeah, so let me see if anything goes well. Igor Rain, any plans for other Siberian cities? Igor, I do have plans for other Siberian cities, but not this month. Like November and December, I'm going to stay in my hometown, edit all the videos I took on my way back here, and in New Year start traveling again. So yeah, I have plans, but not ASAP. Then K, it's 8 a.m. in Detroit, cold with wet snow falling. 8 a.m. Wow, it's 7 p.m. here. Really dark, no snow falling, also very cold. Yeah, so come back to the map. Yeah, and I arrived to Vladivostok city, flying from Bangkok, taking a repatriation flight managed by Russian government. It was not free, it actually was really expensive. The thing is, that flight I took from Bangkok, let me show myself. Yeah, the thing is, that flight I took from Bangkok to Vladivostok, it cost me exactly same amount of money that I spent during 2 months of traveling Russian Far East. It's insane how expensive that was. Or if you look at it differently, it's insane how cheap I traveled during these 2 months. Yeah, starting in Vladivostok, I stayed there 10 days. It was my really first time going so far from my hometown in Russia. I never been to Russian Far East before. I heard a lot and I was really excited to visit there and to roam around. So I spent 10 days in the area, and Vladivostok is something insane. It's the difference between the places I visited before in Russia and Vladivostok is so big. It's nothing like you can see in my hometown. It's nothing like you can see in somewhere in Moscow and St. Petersburg. It's entirely different reality there. Let me see. Creative Karina says, "Hi Niki." Hello Karina. Nice to see you here. Yeah, so Vladivostok was an entirely different reality. It was a combination of really beautiful nature, a lot of islands, the sea, not that kind of bluish or greenish sea that you can see in tropical climate, but it was a very severe, like very cruel sea. The strong wind, gray colors looked very masculine and really beautiful. Secondly, I loved about Vladivostok how I loved the landscape of the city, because it was staying on mountains, or how we call it in Russia, sopka, such kind of hills. It was like up and down, ups and downs, and the city landscape was really beautiful to see. That is the part I enjoyed at Vladivostok, and what took my attention for 10 full days. I stayed there at a hostel, very cheap kind of accommodation. I didn't pay much money for that, but anyways, it was some expenses. And after Vladivostok, look at the map. I think I changed it, right? Yeah, I changed it. After Vladivostok, I took a train to Khabarovsk city. Let's have a quick overview of the trip, and then I share how much money was that, and then I'll also tell about how could I manage to keep the expenses that low. So it was Vladivostok to Khabarovsk, 10 days in Vladivostok city, about 5 or 6 days in Khabarovsk. Then it was Blagoveshchensk city and 5 days staying there. After Blagoveshchensk, I took another train to the city of Chita. Every single friend of mine said that Chita is like middle of nowhere, there is nothing interesting, but actually there were some interesting stuff, and I stayed there for full 3 weeks. Long time. After Chita, I went to Ulan-Ude, to the capital of Buryat Republic, also Russia, but it's entirely different world again, same to Vladivostok, it's something that I never seen before. And this line by Baikal Lake is the end of Russian Far East. So right now, all this huge area is Russian Far East, but everything to the west from it is actually Siberia. So after Ulan-Ude, I went to Irkutsk city, Siberian part of Russia. Moved to Krasnoyarsk after staying about 2 weeks in Irkutsk. And here I really stopped being slow and speeded up, because I've been to Irkutsk before, I've been to Siberia before, I'd grown up here, and it was no longer interesting to me to spend too long time. and I just came back home directly from Krasnoyarsk, skipping a couple of cities on the way. So, the part of money talk, I want to share the expenses that I had on the far eastern part of trip from Vladivostok city to this very place, to Baikal Lake. The trip lasted 53 days. It's almost 2 months. And within these 53 days, I spent, let me check it, I spent 29,000 rubles, which is about 350, I believe. 350, 400 US dollars. I'll count it right now and change the camera into myself. Yeah. Right, so 53 days I was roaming around 5 cities, about 4,000, 3,000 kilometers, and it cost me only 350 US dollars, which is, I think, very low and much lower than average expenses. If you are watching me now, I guess you are curious how can you also do that in Russia, and there are 3 things, 3 pieces of advice I have for you. The biggest one is Couchsurfing. It's something that I promote. It looks like I'm an ambassador of Couchsurfing among my friends and now among online viewers. I love Couchsurfing, and if you never heard about that, Couchsurfing is a community of travelers all over the world who just accept strangers in their own homes. You literally can be traveling somewhere and ask a stranger if he or she could host you at their own houses. And it literally works like this. Let me see if the stream actually goes well. Can you see me clearly? Do you hear me clearly? If yes, please write something to the chat, then I'll know that it goes well. Yeah, well, YouTube says that the stream is healthy, but I'm still not sure if it goes well or not. Okay, while waiting for that, continue about Couchsurfing. So, I often use Couchsurfing during my trips. Igor, I had some issues with the video. Well, maybe it's the first time I'm doing stream and there is a strange connection between my phone, computer, and streaming encoder, so I'm not sure about the quality, overall quality. But at least you can see me. Hope you can hear me. So we keep going. Yeah, so I often use Couchsurfing during my trips, and it saves really enormous amount of money. Just recently, I counted how much I saved with Couchsurfing within the entire time I've been using it, and the amount of money is something like 2,000 American dollars. It really saves up. Then K, sound is good, video a little choppy. Well, sorry for video. Sound good that the sound is good. Yeah, so overall, I saved about 2,000 American dollars using Couchsurfing, and it's within last 6 years. It also saves quite a lot of money during that trip around Russian Far East. I have a magical piece of paper where I wrote everything for you. Within 53 days of roaming around the Far East, I stayed 13 nights at hostels. I mean, I paid money for staying there. And 39 nights I stayed at Couchsurfing host families, and a few nights also with my friends. And it really could cost me a lot, and I saved a lot of money on it. So overall, for 53 days of traveling, I spent only 6,000 rubles for accommodation. In dollars, that is 80, yeah, that is exactly 80 American dollars. That is something insane. For 53 days, $80, it's like $1.5 a day for accommodation. Cool. Though it's not the cheapest accommodation expense I had in my entire travel career. The cheapest was in Thailand. I traveled entirely free for a period of time, but anyways, it's like very low. And the thing is, cheap doesn't mean it is not interesting. Cheap doesn't mean it is inconvenient. Traveling with Couchsurfing is actually could be really nice. You meet a lot of amazing, inspiring people on the way. Sometimes you meet strange people, but I really actually had it. And if you know how to use a Couchsurfing website and filter people and choose the right people to stay with, then you'll have a great experience, which I had in Russia. Like I already mentioned that in Vladivostok I stayed at a hostel. I didn't try using Couchsurfing there, but then when I arrived to Khabarovsk, a family of 4, a daddy, mommy, very young family, and 2 children. They hosted me for 5 days, and it was kind of fun. I helped to look after their kids, and they just took me around the city, showed me some places, and didn't ask anything in exchange. Like literally no money involved. It was so cool, and it also was a great way to meet some local people who know the stuff, who know the city, and can really give some tips and show you around. Oh, a new message. Mr. Handsome, nice nickname. Looking fit, Niki. That couch surfing requires, wow, don't know. But the chances of meeting a whacked out chick is a lot of less. Well, fit Niki, I actually, yeah, I lost some pounds. I lost some weight while traveling. Now I am staying in my hometown, eating a lot of food, moving not too much for the next month. So I am going to be less fit again. Yeah. Continue Khabarovsk Couchsurfing family. It was a really nice stay. We still keep in touch with the father. He's like something like 30 years old, 29, 31. I actually don't recall. And we had a good vibe together. A good vibe together. After Khabarovsk, I moved to the next city, Blagoveshchensk. It's an enormously huge name. It's like something like 11 or 12 letters in English, Blagoveshchensk. And I stayed there for 5 or 6 days, also with couch surfing. But different from Khabarovsk. Only one single girl hosted me for 5 days, and hosted not only me alone, but there was a second traveler. So I was traveling solo, another traveler was traveling solo, and we just met at her apartment. It was really nice, nice meetup. And since then, I also keep in touch with both of them. So, Khabarovsk, Blagoveshchensk, it was entirely couch surfing. And after that, I traveled to... Oh, Mr. Handsome must go. Yeah, nice seeing you here. See you next time. Hopefully for longer. And after Blagoveshchensk, I moved to Chita city, the one everyone told me about. It's not a nice place to go. It's kind of dangerous city. Don't go there. Don't stay there. It's nothing interesting at all. But there was one really interesting thing. My old friend that I also met through Couchsurfing about 5 years ago. Yeah, the thing was like that. I lived in China. I was teaching English in China, and right in the beginning, about 5 years ago, I had a Couchsurfing request from 2 Russian travelers roaming around China. They asked if they can stay in my house, in my room, for about 2 nights. And I said, of course, just come, you can stay anytime you want. And one of the guys was a traveler from Chita city, exactly the city I was going in 2020. So we didn't really keep in touch. We didn't really message each other within these years. but we were in each other's Instagram, and when I was going to Chita, I just texted that guy, and we met once again. I stayed one night at his dacha, at his country house, something like a village house. I made a video about that too. And then he introduced me to his friends in Chita city, where I stayed for about 2 to 3 weeks, long time, and I also relate this as a couchsurfing stay. And all of it, like couchsurfing, friends, connections with other travelers, kept my expenses like really low. After Chita, I moved to Ulan-Ude city. After Ulan-Ude, I stayed in Irkutsk, and every place after Chita, I stayed at hostels because I wanted to just have a little bit of rest from being active socially. I wanted to just be on myself, on my own. And it's not what Couchsurfing about. Couchsurfing is also about communication, about connection. And when I want some private time, I rather stay at a hostel. That's what I did in Ulan-Ude. That's what I did in Irkutsk city and Krasnoyarsk too. So that is the part about accommodation expenses. 53 days, 80 American dollars. That's low. Next part about spending money during traveling is transportation. Before continuing with that, how I count the money I spent during the trips. I divide it into 4 categories: the accommodation, the transportation, the food, anything I consume, and just some other stuff, unnecessary stuff. And for transportation, within these 53 days from Vladivostok to Baikal Lake, I spent, let me see, I spent 127 American dollars, which is also not really much. And nobody writes anything, yeah. And this $127 is actually taking 5 trains from one city to another, and also transportation within one city, like taking a bus or taking a minibus, aka marshrutka in Russia, and so on. It's also not really expensive. I tried to use the cheapest trains I could find on my way, except the first one. Like, I'm sure you guys heard about traveling the Trans-Siberian, taking a long, like 7-day long Russian train from the east to the west. And I wanted to see that train. It is number 001 from Vladivostok to Moscow. And it's a little bit more expensive than usual. But anyways, I wanted to see that. So the first train was more expensive than the cheapest. And every next train was the cheapest I could find from the city I needed to go, to the city I needed to go. Yeah, funny thing about Russian trains, they have a really strange dynamic pricing system. The price to one ticket could be different. Let's say if I want to buy a ticket for tomorrow's train from Omsk, let it be to Moscow, the price will be let's say 100%. If I want to buy the same ticket to the same train, but after 1 week, it will be cheaper. Let's say something like 85-90%. And if I buy really ahead of time, it will be way much cheaper, like 70% from normal. I didn't plan tickets on time. I actually bought it last minute, so I could make it even cheaper if I had planned the transportation ahead of time, but I didn't. Yeah, it could be different. And the third part of expenses is food. For 53 days, I spent only 171 American dollars for food, which is something like 13 Russian rubles. I think it's average. Like, people who live in Russia, they spend something like that for food, for daily life. So I was no different. I didn't really go to restaurants. I actually counted how much I spent for every single item. Like, for restaurants, I spent $55. or 4,100 rubles. The rest of money, they went for coffee shops, they went for alcohol, like 20 and 6 US dollars. And also grocery shopping. I bought a lot of stuff at supermarkets, and that's how I could reduce the expenses I had during my trip. If you buy food at supermarkets and cook by yourself, and you can do it at hostels, you can do it at your couchsurfing host families places, then you will really lower your expenses. And I spent about like 95 US dollars for grocery shopping. Altogether, making food expenses $171, which is nice. Long time nobody wrote anything to the chat, so I wonder if you still can hear me, if you have any questions so far. If you can hear me, I just keep going. I hope it's like interesting to listen about such stuff with exact numbers from my trip. And the fourth item of expenses, just some other stuff which I spent for, is 4G internet. I had 2 months 4G and paid 8 or 6, let me see. I paid 6 US dollars for 4G. Russian internet is really cheap compared to any other countries I've been before. Like, I've heard about American internet, doesn't matter either it's 4G, 5G, if you have 5G, broadband connection, it's very expensive in general. In Russia, it's really cheap. I can only pay like 2-3 US dollars for a month of 4G. Right now I pay about 5 American dollars for 1 month of really nice broadband connection. And it's literally cheaper than any countries I've been before. Like even in Thailand, a cheap country in Asia, the internet was more expensive. In China, where I lived for years, I paid way much more money for internet. And here in Russia, not so much. It's a nice part of my country. And I also bought an umbrella for $8, and I think nothing else on my way what I bought during the travel. Yeah, altogether it makes my expenses, again, accommodation, transportation, food, and some other stuff, about $29,000 rubles, and 29,000 rubles is exactly 381 American dollars. Just think of it. Could you travel somewhere for 2 freaking months spending only $380? That's a really nice amount of money to spend on a trip. Well, I hope you still can hear me. Nothing wrong with my sound, nothing wrong with the video. And here are a few things about the trip, about my travel, that I'd like to share. Like, let it be top spots on the way from Vladivostok to my hometown. First one was in Vladivostok itself. I already mentioned that it had a really beautiful nature, the sea, the mountains, the islands. And there is one thing, one place, which is called Miscellaneous. Igor Rain says it's okay. Well, thank you. So in Vladivostok city, there's something what is called Miscellaneous. Basically, that sounds like a ridge. I'm not sure how to pronounce this word, but whatever. Basically, it is the end part of an island, island shore with huge hill, huge ridge like that. And I wanted to go there, but it was so far. It was actually on an island about 10 kilometers away from the city, and I didn't know how to get there. Taking a bus was not really convenient. Taking a car could be costly. I couldn't afford that. Like, I had the money, but I didn't want to spend too much for only one day trip. But luckily, because I post some videos online because I wrote some like tiny articles about my trips. I got messaged by a local girl who was so nice and showed me around. She drove me like on her car to that island and showed me around that Mista Bizina, and it was damn so beautiful. Just imagine an island, a little bit gloomy, not sunny day, not sunny day at all. Waves just hitting the shore, and there is such a huge difference, between the shore and the rock above it, something like 30, maybe even more meters. I have one photo. I'm not sure if I could actually show you, but I want to. Wait. Yeah, I think I could find it right now. So I have one photo of how it looks like. Let me see. Yeah, you can see it. So that's how Mr. Bizina looks like. That's me staying in front of this glorious nature. Really gloomy day, like the dark colors here. There is such kind of hill, the ridge, and the shore. Glorious. I love there. I think it is my top one nature spot for my trip in Russian Far East. Oh, we got a couple of questions, so let's see it first, and then continue with top spots from Russian Far East. So Denis Applegate, hello Niki, enjoy your videos. Thank you, Denis. I'm really appreciate that you enjoying my videos. It sounds like really motivating to see that somebody, a stranger person behind the screen from another part of the world, like something what I create. Thank you. And then Kay asks, do you have health insurance when you travel? Oh, it's really interesting question. So health insurance is actually very expensive thing to buy, but it's something which could literally save your life. Not means that it will save your health or something like that, and it could save your financial being. I had a couple of friends. I tell a short story first, and then answer to your question. I had a few friends who were traveling around Thailand and some other Asian countries, and they didn't have any insurance coverage, and they hurt themselves somehow doing like riding motorbike or something like that, and they spent really a lot of money in local hospitals. Insurance could cost like a few hundreds of dollars, I believe, for a month or so, maybe a few months of traveling. But if you can afford it, you better do it. As for me, I didn't have any travel insurance. I didn't have health insurance for this year, so I better have it. But I considered it to be too pricey for me, and I didn't do any extreme activities. I didn't ride motorbikes often. I didn't do any extreme sports this year. So I decided it will be okay if I don't take it. It's talking about foreign countries. Right now, I was traveling. Sometimes it's so hard to talk to a camera, especially when there is no response from any face in front of me. Okay, this year, 2 last months, I've been traveling around Russia. It's my own country, and we don't need to have travel insurance here. Basically, we do have free medicine care in Russia, and if I get myself injured, I just can go to any local hospital and get a free health care. So for Russian part of trip, I don't have travel insurance, but also don't need one. I hope that answers your question then. And anyone else who's watching me now, just ask anything you are curious about Russia or my trips. I'll answer that. And if you are watching that in recording, just write such questions in the comments. Yeah, keep going with top spots Russian Far East. The first one was Miscellaneous in Vladivostok, really great place. And second place, I think I loved Ulan-Ude. Ulan-Ude is the capital of Buryat Republic, which is kinda independent part of Russia, at least culturally independent. The people who live there, they are Russians by nationality, but they have their own roots and they look different. They have kind of different culture, though they are integrated to our society quite well. And it was really interesting to roam around Buryatian Republic, around Ulan-Ude. And I found one place which was called Datsan, Ivolginsky Datsan. It is something like a Buddhist monastery, but it's also a combination of a monastery and a university. That's what Datsan is. Young people, young students go there, they live there and get educated by monks. And everyone can visit that kind of place, everyone can visit there. And I just had a bus trip, something like 1 hour from Ulan-Ude to Ivolginsky Datsan. I was really impressed by, firstly, the nature there. It's mountains, but also such kind of steeps as not many trees there. And by the architecture in that monastery itself. It was not beautiful, it was very interesting to see. The huge territory was divided into two parts. One part was religious. There were some Buddhist buildings. The monks were sitting there, and people were coming to get a talk with them, have a prayer. And the second part of the monastery was dormitories, where people lived, like students lived, perhaps some of the monks too. And it was old-style Russian buildings, wooden buildings, like really amazing. I haven't finished the video about that place yet, though I filmed a lot, and I think it will be finished after a month or so, and I'll show that on my channel. Yep. And so basically that is the second place that I love the most, Russian Far East. Have another message from Winyap. Winyap, interesting nickname or name. Sorry I was late. I thought you live at Instagram, and I was like, why it's not live yet? Yeah, so I also do live on Instagram from time to time. And if you are not subscribed to my Instagram yet, good time to do that. I just share some parts, like little parts of my journey and my daily life there, and have live from time to time. But this time I also decided to start YouTube streams. Right now you can see me jumping from one topic to another, not structuring the story I'm telling you. That's because it's my first ever live stream on YouTube. I never done it before, and I want to practice this together with sharing the stuff I learned during the travels and also giving you some value out of it. So next week I'll also do such kind of live stream. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it and come back next week. But we still keep going. Kalem Serena, Niki, is that a creep behind you? What is a creep? A creep. Oh, yeah, that baby bed. Funny. Yeah, that is a creep. Thanks for teaching me a new English word. Baby bed. Yeah, the place I'm staying now is my father's apartment. He lived here last few years with his wife, with a baby. I've got a new brother who slept in that crib, but recently they are not staying in this apartment, so I just got a chance to stay here, apart from my family, alone. Oh yeah, the crib. Well, continue. The third place I want to share about Russian Far East is Khabarovsk city and forest next to it. It was really nice to visit there, thanks to my Couchsurfing host family. It was Sunday, the last day of me staying in Khabarovsk. They had a day off and they could just go anywhere they want. And they decided to take me outside of city, just half an hour ride to Hechtsirsky Zapovednik. It's really hard word even in Russia. So Hechtsir forest. And it was a weekend getaway for locals. They just go there for having a barbecue, hanging out with friends, families, children, whatever. And it was like a real forest, like a lot of trees, green, nice scenery. And we had a quick hike from the car to the top of a mountain there, and then had a picnic on the top. And it was so damn beautiful that now it's my number 3 top place from my trip. I actually have a picture of that forest and I want to show it to you. Let me see. Yeah, that's here in Khabarovsk. That's how it looked like. Let me change the camera. Yeah, that's how it looked like. The forest, me staying there, and a lot of green trees. Like, I really love this scenery. Okay, come back to my main camera. And lastly, number 4 place I love so much is Baikal Lake. If you never heard about Baikal Lake, it's a good time to learn it. It's the deepest lake in the world. Also, I think one of the biggest ones, or the biggest one. And it is the lake that right now divides Russian Siberia from Russian Far East. Before it was not like that, but 2 years ago it changed, like the geographical borders within our country, and now it's the dividing part of 2 regions. So I've been there 3 years ago, traveling with my ex-girlfriend, and this year it was the second time going to Baikal. It was entirely different. This time it was rather cold, the end of October, the beginning of November, and it was snowing already. I could see the snowy mountains, the peaceful lake. It was incredible. And I also have a couple of pictures for that from the Baikal lake. I also posted them to my Instagram, but I'm gonna show it here too. So it is here. See, you see, right? So that is Baikal Lake. The one, the part of the land you see here, me staying here, it's actually Russian Far East, and in front of me, that is Siberia. That's how Baikal Lake divides our country into 2 regions. Cool. So that is all 4 places I loved a lot during my way. But actually, there are so many other like spots that I loved from my journey. They are worthy mentioning, but I couldn't name them top places. Like in Blagoveshchensk city, the 3rd city on my way, I found like something not strange, something surprising. That is, that city stands on the border with China. Literally, there is a river, Heilongjiang in Chinese, or Amur River in Russian and English, and it divides our countries. So from one side there is Chinese city Heihe, from another side there is Russian city Blagoveshchensk, and the difference between cities is so huge. Like, if you just stay on one side and look into another side, it's like 2 different worlds. Russia had quite simple landscape, quite simple embankment, and China was looking really high-tech with all the lightnings, with all the stuff, and high buildings right in front of me. It was a really cool place. Yeah, I think that was kinda all that I wanted to share about my trip, about expenses and couch surfing. There are so many stories to tell, to share from the trip, but like we cannot talk 5 hours long. We just stay here for an hour or so. So we have 15 more minutes. And if you have anything you'd like to know about Russia, or about low budget traveling, or about couchsurfing, or anything related to my trip, please ask that in the chat. I'll see that. Before I see any questions, I'll also share a bit from my trip after the Russian Far East part, because there still were two cities, Irkutsk and Krasnoyarsk, that's behind Baikal Lake, and obviously Omsk after that. I didn't travel there much. I just felt that Far East was something unknown. It was like terra incognita for me. I didn't know what is there. It was so interesting for me to roam around, and it took me quite a long time to cover the distance. But Irkutsk, I've been there before. Krasnoyarsk, it's Siberia. I've been there before. Omsk, Novosibirsk, Tomsk, I've been there before too. So I had a rather rapid trip from Irkutsk to my hometown. Okay, Igor Rain has a question. Is it possible to get out from Omsk completely? Well, somebody is aware of Russian memes. Yeah, for any foreigners watching us, there is a meme about my hometown. Do not try to leave Omsk. You anyway cannot make it. But Igor, I tell you, there is a way out to leave Omsk completely. I just haven't found it yet. But I tried, I really tried. I spent, I think, 6 years living abroad without coming back Omsk entirely. I only had short visit 2 times to see my family and friends. And this time is the longest. Actually, yes, this year is the longest time. Oh, something with the video. Let me see if it goes well. I'm not sure if the video goes well. YouTube says something is wrong. But tell me, please tell me if you can see me. Before that, I'll change the screen into, I think, screen sharing. Let's try like this. Yeah, cool. So there is a way to move out of Omsk completely, Igor, and out of Tomsk too, if you want to leave your hometown. Denke, we started watching your coffee chat in Chiang Mai. Will you do Zeus in Russia? Oh, good. Good. I think I will do this in Russia too. I do have some coffee. I'm not sure if you can see that behind me, but there are my coffee beans. I do have something to pour it in, and I have a lot of stuff to share. And yes, I think I'll do that. Together with such kind of live streams, with coffee talks, and with travel vlogs. It will be 3 main kind of content for the next month, my YouTube channel. And I think I'll also try making some guides for low-budget travelers. I'm sure that, like, perhaps you are not really interested in the guides for low-budget travelers, but it's something that I want to try. And yeah, like that. Coffee Talks, it will be next month. I forgot when the last time I made it, and then I was unsure. I was actually unsure if anyone likes watching that. But after your message then, and after seeing some other positive responses, I think I could be back to that kind of videos. Thank you for reminding me for that. Well, continue from Irkutsk. That was the first city in Siberian part. my journey, and I stayed there in a hostel. And actually, the plan was kind of ridiculous. Just wanted to stay there for 3 days, relax, and keep going to Krasnoyarsk, then to my hometown. But the atmosphere in the hostel, in Irkutsk hostel, was so great. It's like the vibe of that place was something that I felt in Bangkok, that I felt in Hong Kong and some other Asian places. It was such a nice place, full of interesting people, that I decided to stay not for 3 days, but for about 2 weeks. Many things happen in that hostel. I spend a lot of time with my computer just figuring out the stuff about my videos and also about the stuff I study at the moment. Somebody stole my shoes in Irkutsk in the hostel, my only shoes, and we managed to deal with that with the hostel staff. Somebody hosted me at her apartment because of that story. And then, after all, I finished staying in Irkutsk, moved to Krasnoyarsk, only for 1 night. It was really beautiful there. It's also a hilly city with nice mountains, with nice river, but it was getting too cold, and I decided to move straight forward to Omsk, skipping skipping your hometown. Sorry for not coming over to Tomsk, skipping Novosibirsk, because I've been there and I lived there for a period of time. And here we go. Omsk city. Honestly, a nice place to visit. Not extraordinary, just nice. But as a local person here, I do not really like living here and want to escape from living Omsk after some time. Yeah. A few words about next plans, about the video. A few words about the next... Once again, it's hard talking to a camera without seeing a response. So a few words about my future plans after the new year, about my trips. I will stay in Omsk until the end of this year, then perhaps a few weeks more. Perhaps going to visit my friends around, like Novosibirsk, Tomsk, and then keep going to the western part of Russia. Like there is still Yekaterinburg, Kazan, Nizhny Novgorod, and Moscow on the way, 4 cities that I really want to visit, and also St. Petersburg, and if possibly Kaliningrad, where I haven't been in my life. I've never visited there. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to 2021. And I think I'll keep making videos about that too, about that part of my journey. Tattoo Omsk. Oh, question in Russian. Не вгораешь эмоционально делать столько видео и вкладывать столько сил. In English it means if you have any emotional burnout making so many videos and also making so much effort into it. I do not have emotional burnout, but I have something different. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure what thing I want to focus onto. Like, should I do this, or should I do that, or should I do that, this, that? And altogether, it looks like I'm doing all the things at one time. It doesn't make me emotionally burned out, but it is kind of hard to concentrate on one thing and making progress on it. Yeah, I'll answer the same stuff in Russian in case Tattoo Omsk doesn't really understand English, but I hope you do. Нет, я не выгораю эмоционально. Мне... Oh, looks like you understand, but anyway, continue in Russian. I have something to add. Perhaps you'll understand better. Я не выгораю эмоционально. но мне трудно выбрать что-то, на чем концентрироваться. И вот это как раз мне дается с трудом. То есть вкладывать во что-то силы абсолютно нормально, даже на протяжении такого длительного времени, уже практически 1 год вкладывать силы и в канал, и в видео, и Инстаграм, и так далее, мне в радость, потому что это идет для меня как хобби. Это что-то, чем мне нравится заниматься, а когда ты вкладываешь время и силы в такую вещь, в твое хобби, то, ну, какое там эмоциональное выгорание. А вот когда начинается что-то вроде нужно делать то-то, нужно себя пересиливать, каких-то показателей добиваться, тогда да, у меня может наступить уже эмоциональное выгорание. But not yet. Really nice that you understood in English. Good job. Well, 5 last minutes. If you have anything to ask me, do it right now. Before that, I want to say really thank you, really appreciate that you joined the live stream. It is again something new for me, and I feel like I want to do it again next week. Perhaps better day, but maybe Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I would actually love to hear your opinion on it, like which day is better and what time is better, because I do have viewers from different countries, and it's hard to choose the right time. Right now I just follow the YouTube analytics. It says what time I have more viewers, and I simply choose the best time based on that. Yeah, I would also appreciate if you hit the like button on this channel. Like every single YouTuber asks about that, and the reason is when you do that, YouTube understands that your video is kind of interesting, and if you really think it's interesting, you better do it, not only to me, but also to your other favorite creators. I'm not sure if I have a video problem right now. Or internet problem. Let me know if so. And we have a couple of questions. Tattoo Omsk asks, I have another question. Even low budget trip requires some money, but after all, money will end sooner or later. In Omsk, in your hometown, do you have your apartment rent to other people, like rent out my apartment? No, I don't owe anything. I don't have an apartment. I don't have an apartment to rent out. I do not have any real income within this year. And the thing how I afforded traveling within this year is I worked in China before in 2019, years ago. I didn't save much money. I just took my last salary and I used it for traveling this year. Then I also get a kind of side income, small passive income that I get every month, but it is very low, still helpful. Let me see. Not sure if you can actually see me. YouTube makes me like kinda freak out about video quality. That's why I touch my camera, but I hope you can see me now. Okay, finish with the questions you have. Igor Rain asks, by the way, do you have some problems with speaking Russian now? Funny. Yes, I do. I have problems with speaking all languages I speak now. And it is kind of stuff that makes me worried about communicating with people, because I have a mixture of Russian, English, and Chinese languages in my head, and I do not have any main language right at the moment. I speak English and Russian equally with my friends and families, And I also speak a decent amount of Chinese in my daily life, and it all mixes up together. Every single language sounds different. And I often do really stupid, silly mistakes and sometimes cannot connect the words in the right way. That is something that I want to improve, something that I want to make better, but not yet. So I may sound strange, especially speaking Russian or English from time to time. Then K, enjoyed listening to your travel stories. We are in lockdown. So nice to hear stuff from world travelers. Thank you so much, Denke, for coming here from Denver, Dallas. Let me scroll down to our chat history. Oh, Detroit. Yeah, from Detroit. Damn, that is so far away. Appreciate you joined. Tajin Park. How about visiting Korea? How about visiting Korea someday? I am fan from Korea. I didn't know I have fans from Korea. Wow. Appreciate you watching this from, again, so far away. I have been to Korea one time before, but it was very short trip, only 5 days to Seoul. Was looking for my ex-girlfriend there, like something like reunion, but whatever, it's a long story. And I want to go to South Korea once again. I planned it for the end of 2021, but I planned it before having Corona in our world. Right now, I'm not sure if I can make it in 2021, but Korea and also Japan together with that is one of my priority in Asia now. So yeah, definitely I'll visit Korea someday, and just wherever I go there, if you're still watching me, just leave me a message. I always happy to meet up with new friends, with people who I know through internet. Nahidna Ismail says hi. Hi there. Yeah, it's a late hi because I'm about to finish live streaming. I'll wait one more minute if any other questions, and then finish the translation, the streaming, I mean. Once again, thank you so much for joining, guys. It was kind of interesting. It's really interesting for me to do such kind of stuff. And next week, I will do it again. Follow my Instagram. I will announce such kind of live streams there a day ahead, so you will not miss it. And we will talk such things as traveling Russia, because I'm staying here at the moment, traveling on a budget in general, and a lot about Asian countries, because I am a huge fan of Asia. I lived in Asian countries for 6 long years, actually longer. Yeah, it is longer than I was an adult living in Russia. So I have a lot of stuff to share. Yeah, looking forward to that. Last one from Tattoo Omsk. Ladies, I hope you will end Russia by the end of this trip and will live somewhere abroad, abroad Russia, far from Russia. That is funny, funny wish. I also want to live abroad. I do not want to stay in Russia for a long time, not because I do not like my country. I actually love traveling around Russia. I just found a better, a more interesting and more fulfillment lifestyle staying in Asia. Perhaps after roaming around the world, I will end up somewhere in Southeast Asia or in countries like that. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Wherever you stay healthy. Travel, plan your travels to the moment when you actually can physically travel, when the borders are open. And see you next time. Cheers from Russia.